Hi, tubers. Pretty late at night. It's like midnight. I just had a really awesome shower and thinking that I better get used to not having those because I think that's gonna be some of the shit that they take away from us is our right to exist. Anyway, so I was walking downtown and there is a very large population of people who choose to live alternatively. And if you want to use the politically correct term is homeless, I don't know. I don't think they're homeless. I think they just choose to live there. Anyway, so it's in a warehouse district. There's a shelter down there, and so there's these sidewalks, and nobody goes down there. Nobody goes down there. So they camp out on the sidewalks. They got their shit going on, and so the other day I was down there walking around and stuff, and there were police officers, code enforcers down there, and they were standing in the middle of the street. Okay, and when people walked by who had animals, they would step in front of him and start to ask him questions like, where do you live, and is this your animal, and does he have shots, and blah 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 blah. And I stood there and observed them doing this for like three different people who were walking in the middle of the street, not even camped out on the sidewalk or anything. So I stood there, and then they were standing in the middle of the street with their arms crossed, looking over their shoulder at each other, doing the whole talking thing. And I said, "Excuse me, officer." They did not pay attention to me at all. I said, "Excuse me, code enforcer." They both looked at me. They know their name. They know it. They know who they are. Don't even let them tell you they don't. Anyways, I decided that rather than enter into a contract with them, I was going to make them enter into a contract with me. And so I said, "May I ask you some questions?" And the one officer said, "Sure, go ahead." I said, "What is your purpose?" One guy was like, "Oh, my purpose in life?" And I looked at him and I said, "No, sir. You are obviously here in your professional capacity. What is your purpose?" And he looked at me and he said, well, we're just trying to clean up the area because otherwise there'll be drugs and there'll be crime and da-da." And I started looking around and I said, "Okay." Because there's nothing they're only going to be stealing from each other. And yeah, there's drugs down there. There's a bunch of spice and crack addicts down there. And, that's a terrible thing. But there's a lot of mentally ill people down there, too. I don't know. It's just. Anyway, so the point of my story is I looked at him and I said, "Well, Mr. Code Enforcer, I've been standing here observing you, and I believe that you are harassing the people, and I would like you to stop." Well, his buddy got all, "Rah, rah, rah, rah. Well, you don't know what you're doing." I said, "Excuse me, I am not talking about you personally. We are talking about your professional capacity." At that point, the one that was trying to get all up in my face, and he took a step back and crossed his arms across his chest. They asked me, "Why are you asking all these questions?" I have a right as a citizen, as a taxpayer. We'll just pretend I'm a taxpayer. Um, these are public servants. They work for us, supposedly. I have the right to ask them that. I have the right to say, "Hey, I think you're harassing these people." Don't you think? So, I decided they were getting awfully pissy, and they were, looking around for someone to bust. So I walked off. When I came back, they had two of their Suburbans blocking the street. And they had one girl in a little yellow sweatshirt standing there, just tears streaming down her face. They're like inches from her, talking to her, lording over her. And because I am belligerent, by the way, Rem. But I just don't have a filter, that's all. So as I'm walking by, she catches my eye, and I say, "That's why you're supposed to say, I do not consent." But I thought of this really great thing to say after that. Because here's the thing. There's a difference between consenting and entering into a contract with these fuckers. Okay? So, if you answer their question immediately, or if you do anything they say immediately, you have entered into a contract with them. You got to switch that around so that you are the one in control of the situation. You are the one asking the questions. Okay? So here is what I would say. I would call them code enforcers because obviously they didn't answer to officer, but they answered to code enforcer. And you know what's really funny is the sheriffs around here answer to constable. I guess they are. So my thing to say is, I do not consent. And how do I put? I had it perfect. Now I'm on, my little camera, and I can't think. So you would say, code enforcer, can you please tell me why it is that you have interrupted my pursuit of happiness? That's constitutional right? Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. You can even say that. Excuse me, code officer, why have you impeded my life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness? Now you've turned it around. Now they have to explain themselves to you. They are entering into a contract with you rather than you entering into a contract with them. It really pisses them off, by the way, because they know exactly what you're doing. And they know what you're doing is legal. It's totally legal. And they can't do anything to you for being like that. They can get all pissy and stuff, but yeah, they can't do anything. It's awesome. I just love it. And so I've decided that anytime I have any type of altercation with these idiots, that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to turn it around and make them go into contract with me rather than me entering into a contract with them. So I recently, and on another note, I recently got hired at a pedicab. That is a really cool, it's a bike with a little seats on the back and everything, right? So I would be getting paid to drive. So I need a driver's license. That's the law, right? And I gotta have an Arizona license. You have 15 days or something here to turn it over. I have a paycheck in my purse that I cannot cash because I don't have Arizona ID. And because it's from out of state too. Isn't that fucking ridiculous? I took it to the bank it was drawn off of. And they're like, well, do you have ID? And I gave them my ID. Well, do you have any other forms of ID? So I said, well, I have a social security card. I have my minister's license. I have a library card. Things like that. And they wouldn't accept any of them. They asked me for a credit card. I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? Really? It reminds me of the time when I was about to have my son, and I had went to go to the store to buy things for the hospital, like a nice fluffy robe and some slippers, stuff that would be nice for me while I'm in the hospital, because I know I have to have a C-section, okay? And I'm in there, and I'm picking out all this really cool stuff. And they tell me if I buy the catalog for $5, that I'll get $40 off my purchase or something. Super cool, right? Yeah, I can do that. So I actually lived in Anaconda, and the store was in Butte. And I don't know if you guys know about Montana, but Anaconda is a pretty small town, and Butte is about 35 miles away. So I asked the woman who is ringing me up, I said, well, since I've ordered out of the catalog, can I have it shipped to my house? Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. Like, cool, cool, cool. That way I don't have to make another trip because at this point I'm like a weeble wobble. I'm just hugely pregnant. And so that was all cool, and I'm like, do. And I get ready to do it, and the manager walks up and she goes, well, if you're gonna have these shipped, we need to see your credit card. What? I'm paying cash. I am paying for it right now. A credit card doesn't pay for it right now. A credit card is kind of like a guarantee of payment. And yeah, I know money's not real and blah, 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 but we use it as real. So it is. So what it came down to was it didn't matter if I already paid for it with cash, it could not be sent to my home unless I had a credit card. That made absolutely no sense to me. And I was very upset. I was like, you already told me I could have it sent. You not see that I'm going to freaking pop any day now? She said, oh, no, that's our policy, blah, blah, blah. It's a really stupid policy. So I said, fine, I don't want any of this shit, and I don't want your fucking catalog either. I want my money back for that. Then I took the robe and the slippers back to the department that I got them to return them. And as I'm returning them with the cashier, the manager walks up to me, and this is what she said exactly, was, don't you be trying that shit over here. Wow. No, lady, I'm returning your shit, and I'm never shopping at your store again, and I'm telling everybody how you treated me. Anyways, I had that because credit cards, really? They have become a form of ID. They have become a status. I've never had one, and I never will. You know? I don't buy fishing license. I don't use a hunting license. But I'm not out trophy getting, I hunt and fish for food. I'm pretty sure that's my given right as a being just born on this planet. Who gave them the right to own or sell something? It was here before them. It's going to be here after them. It doesn't belong to anybody. No one. People like say, oh, that's mine. Nothing is yours. Rumi has this great saying, and it's a meditation saying. And the more you meditate on it, the more it opens up. But what he says is, you possess nothing you would lose in a shipwreck. Makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense. So I really think that in this climate today, that most people have been brainwashed to the point nobody's gonna do anything, dude. Freaking sad. Nobody's gonna do anything. We're just gonna roll over and let them. Here's where my big crosswalk argument comes in, is that a crosswalk is a perfect example of the things that they have taken away from you. Okay? So you go to the street, right? And there's a crosswalk, and you're supposed to walk in it. Because if you don't, it's jaywalking, and you could get arrested. And you have to stand on the corner until the little light turns the right color and tells you that it's okay to cross. You could be standing there for 5 minutes with no fucking cars coming. I'm not the one, by the way. And you They have installed those to let you know that you are not smart enough to make your own decision, that you are not responsible enough to take your life and responsibility for your life into your own hands. Something that simple is how they've infiltrated us. Oh, well, it's a law and it makes you safe and da da. Well, if you're an idiot, because honestly, I know how to cross a street. I know not to jump out in front of a fucking car or anything else. Right? So if I have to go stand on a corner and wait for some machine to tell me when I can cross, I'm giving up my power to somebody else. Honestly. And people like, that's fucking crazy. It's not crazy. It's true. That is just some of the little tiny things they do in our society to take away our integrity. You are not smart enough. You are not responsible enough to know when to cross a fucking street. Really? And if you don't do what we say, we're going to give you a ticket. Because you must get in line and you must be like everyone else. It's totally infuriating. I mean, I have a friend who will not cross anywhere but a crosswalk. Well, it's safe, it's safe. Did you not play Frogger as a kid? I mean, come on. So I think in a way I've really kind of given up on the whole movement because I just don't think anybody's going to do anything. And it's really disheartening. So I guess I'm back to like going out in the middle of nowhere and just creating my own little life. My own life that's true and real. You know, McDonald's isn't real. TV's not real. Movies aren't real. Why do we live in cubes stacked on top of each other? I don't get it. Anyways, those are just some of the thoughts that were passing through my mind at freaking 12:30 at night. And so you guys have a good night and have a good day tomorrow. And I'll talk to you later. Bye.